Greetings everyone, and welcome to the first episode of what will be many on one particular subject, COTA's Transit System Revision, which will take effect in May 1st, 2017. I'm Tape City, and if you don't know who I am, my name is Chris. But anyway, what I am going to be talking about is basically what COTA is going to do in May 1st of 2017. Which basically is the transit system redesign. Now what this is it is a complete overhaul to the bus system as we know it today. Some of these changes including more frequent service on several bus lines, extended service to 1 a.m. weeknights and Saturday, and extended service till 10 p.m. on Sundays. Among other things, there will be many reroutes, route changes, time changes. Some routes will even be eliminated altogether, as well as the addition of some new routes. Some of those new routes have already been implemented in the past couple of months, and some will be implemented in January 2017 ahead of the main and big change May 1st, 2017. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go over each of the existing routes route by route and tell you which parts of those routes are going to stay the same, which parts of the routes will be going to be serviced by another route, and what routes or part of routes will be eliminated altogether. Now, because of the complexity of this redesign, I'm only going to go through a few routes each episode. And hopefully by the time this series is done, everyone will hopefully, at least I hope to have helped some people understand what's going to happen, and hopefully this will be my attempt to keep everyone from getting lost. Of course, COTA probably is doing something about this too to inform everyone. They got all this information on their website. So if you go to www.cota.com, there is a thing there that will give you a trip calculator. It will show you all the routes and stuff and how the routes will be, and basically there's all kinds of stuff, and there's even more stuff being added as I record. So in this episode, I will be focusing on the first three routes, which will be the Livingston Avenue local, the Cleveland Avenue local, the East Main Street local, the North High Street local, the recently added 2L Crosstown, which right now is named Polaris, but it will be renamed in May 1st, 2017 to the High Street Polaris Crosstown. I will also talk about the Northwest Blvd local and the West Mound Street local. Now how I'm going to do this is, in this little example I just drew a straight line and wrote bus route. And in this example, if I highlight a part of a COTA route in green, that means there will be no changes to the bus route in part or in whole to that route. Now if I were to highlight it in yellow, that means the route will be serviced by a different bus route once the system redesign takes effect in May 1st, 2017. And if I highlight a bus route in red or part of a route, that means it is discontinued. And then I will try to refer to other bus routes that are nearby, as suggested in a COTA paper /PDF that I also found, which also helps you figure out what routes you will need to take once the system goes live. Okay. We are going to start things off with a look at the Livingston Avenue local. Now here is what the bus route looks like at the time of this video, which would be, at the time of the making of this video, would be December 6th, 2016. As you can see, it's a fairly simple route. You just take the bus down from High Street and just go out on Livingston Avenue until you need to get off at your destination. Now there's a small branch of the route that goes up Country Club Road, McAllister Avenue, and ends at Shady Lane and Main Street, while the majority of the buses will continue on Livingston Avenue until it reaches Reynoldsburg Park and Ride. Now, for the most part, this route will not change at all on May 1st, 2017. So, for anyone that utilizes Livingston Avenue local to get to anywhere along Livingston Avenue or to transfer to other locals, you will not have to worry, as there will be no changes to the route. However, if you need to take the bus to Country Club Road, McAllister Avenue, or Shady Lane and Main Street, unfortunately that part of the route will be discontinued on May 1st, 2017. There are alternatives to get to where you need to, depending on where you needed to get off at Country Club, McAllister, or Shady Lane will be the Livingston local, of course, or the East Main Street local if you're closer to Main Street, or the Hamilton Road Crosstown, which will be renumbered to 24 in May 2017. And the Livingston Avenue will be still the number 1 Livingston Avenue in 2017. And here's what the route will look like. As you can see here, it's a big fat red line which indicates, according to the TSR papers and information I looked up, 15-minute or better bus service. And since the whole route is a big fat red line, that means great bus service for Livingston Avenue. We will now jump on to the Cleveland Avenue bus. And here is what the bus route looks like currently. Now, it might be kind of hard to see. Movie Maker does not like to cooperate with me when it comes to pictures that are like this. But this is basically what the bus route looks like today. The bus connects up with the Livingston Avenue currently. However, the Cleveland Avenue will not connect to the Livingston bus in 2017. It will connect up with the Sullivan Avenue local. The Livingston Avenue bus will connect with the Kenny Road local. So that might be something that people will have to try to remember and get used to. But anyway, for the most part, the Cleveland Avenue local will also not see very many changes. And for the most part, you will not have to worry about any part of the route, with one exception. If you use the number 1 to get to the Westerville Park and Ride, unfortunately that part of the route will be discontinued. And you will have to pretty much either walk the distance or quite possibly use an express, depending on where you need to go. Now, there's also a dotted line on the bus route, which I wasn't too sure, as there was no indication of whether that was peak service or just simply a layover route. Some buses will lay over at Northern Lights Park and Ride. Other buses will lay over farther north. So I will not mention anything about the dotted line as a result, so I'm not too sure about that. The Cleveland Avenue bus will still be the Cleveland Avenue local, but it will be number 6 in 2017 and connect with the Sullivan Avenue local. And in January 2018, there will be the C-Max BRT. So, here's what the route will look like in 2017. As you can see, the red here indicates 15 minutes or better bus service. While further up north, the blue indicates the standard 15 to 60 minute bus service. Unfortunately, I do not know the times for the revised routes. I can only find information on the routes themselves. I don't have information on the times other than estimations. So as you can see here, a good chunk of the Cleveland Avenue route will have good 15 minute or less bus service. Farther up north, the buses won't be as frequent, but it will still be pretty decent bus service. Now we're going to take a look at the East Main Street local. Now, for the most part, this bus route, like the number 1 Livingston Avenue local and the Cleveland Avenue local, will for the most part remain the same, but with one small change. Here is what the bus route currently looks like. It's pretty much just a straight shot out on Main Street, all the way out to Reynoldsburg, with a branch of the route traveling down Bryce Road through the Scarborough Boulevard area and ending at Tussing Road and the Consumer Square Shopping Center. Now, for the most part, the route will stay the same. So if you travel on East Main Street from Reynoldsburg to downtown, or any part there in either direction, it will still be the same old number 2 East Main Street. Especially in Bexley, where it is turned into a bottleneck because Bexley has those islands in the middle of the street. However, things start to change for the Main Street local when I look at the Bryce Road branch and the Scarborough Loop. So Bryce Road and most of the Scarborough Loop will still be serviced, but not by the East Main Street local. Instead, it will be serviced by the Bryce Road Crosstown, a new bus route that will be put into service January of 2017, several months ahead of the May 1st overhaul and when the majority of the service changes will actually go into effect. The small part of the Scarborough Loop as well as Consumer Square East Shopping Center will be discontinued, and you will have to utilize the Bryce Road Crosstown and then walk the small distance to get there. And here is what the East Main Street local will look like once May 1st comes around. As you can see here, this big red line indicates 15 minutes or better bus service. And that big red line goes all the way out to just past Hamilton Road. Now once you get past Hamilton Road to the end of the bus route, it is a blue line which will indicate standard bus service, which will be anywhere from 15 to 60 minutes. I unfortunately don't know what the times would be. There's no bus schedules available for any of the revised routes yet. Now we're going to take a look at the North High Street local, and it connects with the East Main Street local. Now the East Main Street and North High Street locals will still connect to each other in 2017, and they're only one of two local routes that will do so, the other one being the Broad Street bus number 10. I will explain more about the Broad Street bus in a later video. Now when I went to put the High Street route into the Movie Maker, it didn't pan out as nice as I wanted to. As you can see, you could barely even see the bus route. So I will chop the route in Movie Maker into two segments. Now I'm going to focus first on the part of the High Street local that travels basically from downtown to Graceland Shopping Center. That part of the route will be exactly the same in May 1st, 2017 as it will be now. So there's no worries there. However, from Graceland Shopping Center to Crossroads Park and Ride, that part of the route will still be there. However, it will not be the number 2 High Street local. Instead, it will be the High Street Polaris Crosstown, which is the 2L. And furthermore, there are several branches of the High Street route that are being eliminated. Select trips that went into Graceland Shopping Center are discontinued. You will have to utilize either the North High Street local nearby or the High Street Polaris Crosstown. The branch that goes into Colonial Hills will also be discontinued as a result. That little branch right now is just peak only service. Your alternatives there, depending on where you are on that branch, will either be the High Street Polaris Crosstown or the Indianola local bus. And finally, the Wilson Bridge Road branch is also being discontinued, and that also means the Worthington Express is also being discontinued too. Once again, you will have to utilize the 2L High Street Polaris Crosstown to get to areas that you might need to on the discontinued part of the High Street local. And here is what the High Street local will look like May 1st, 2017. As you can see, the route only goes up to about Del Wanda Park and Ride. But on the plus side, you'll still have 15 minutes or better bus service, which is indicated by, once again, the big fat red line. And speaking of the 2L, this is the Polaris Crosstown. It is currently just a crosstown that goes from Crossroads Park and Ride to a mire up in the Polaris area. Now come May 1st, 2017, this crosstown will be extended down to Graceland Shopping Center. Unfortunately, I could not get a download of the revised version of the 2L. I'm not sure why. The download just didn't want to download. I'm not sure, it was probably my web browser acting up. We will now jump on to the Northwest Blvd local, and here is what the route looks like today. As you can see, it's pretty much goes from Kingsdale Shopping Center to downtown. Now, a little while ago, this local only ran Monday through Saturday and didn't even run on Sundays. Instead, the Mound Street local, which connected with Northwest, on Sundays would connect to West 5th Avenue. However, Sunday service was more recently introduced on the Northwest Blvd local. So, depending on where you are on the Northwest local, part of the route will be the same, part of it will be discontinued, and part of it will be serviced by a different route. Now basically, if you use the Northwest Local from Kingsdale Shopping Center to 3rd Avenue and Edge Hill Road, which unfortunately is not marked on the current bus schedule, you will have nothing to worry about. The route will be exactly the same. If you, however, utilize number 3 from 3rd Avenue and Edge Hill to Buttles and Neal Avenue, that part of the route will be discontinued. And you will have to either utilize the West 5th Avenue Local or the Carl Local, the number 8. And I will explain more about the Carl Local in a future episode. And from Buttles and Neal to Neal Avenue and Vine Street, that part of the route will still be there, but it will be serviced by, once again, the Carl Local. And here is what the Northwest Boulevard will look like in the future. As you can see, the alignment will also take it to Grandview Yard, which will be pretty neat, and hopefully will bolster and boost bus service. As you can see, however, this route does not have a big fat red line on there and only has the little blue line. So this indicates standard bus service of anywhere between 15 and 60 minutes. I'm probably going to assume this is going to be about maybe 20 minutes apart or something. Again, I don't have access to the times yet. Finally, we're going to take a look at the West Mound Street Local, which is also number 3. Currently, West Mound Street and Northwest Boulevard connect to each other, but in May 1st, 2017, they won't. Northwest Boulevard will connect to what is currently now known as the Grove City Local. The Grove City Local will be renumbered to number 3, and its name will change from Grove City to Harrisburg. The West Mound Street will be renumbered to number 9 and connect with a different route, which I'll go to at a later time. But here is what the route looks like currently. And I can remember originally when I first started taking interest in buses and COTA and stuff in general, the number 3 and the number 6 basically laid over on top of each other at the end right around Westland Mall. However, over time the number 3 has been extended down Georgesville Road, and there at one point a long time ago used to be the number 97 Crosstown, which was the Georgesville Road Crosstown. And it went to where the loop is on the number 3 now, and it ran up Georgesville Road and eventually up Philippi and laid over at an area just north of Broad Street. However, the route was cut back significantly sometime in the early 2000s and pretty much just became the Philippi Crosstown, and eventually the 97 was axed altogether. But anyway, this route is a little more on the complicated side to figure out as to what's staying and what is going, and especially around where the route used to lay over a while back. I'm not even sure if I have it mapped out correctly as to what parts of the route around the Westland Mall area are staying or not. So if I have something wrong, or if COTA wants to clear up anything, please comment below. So, the first part of the route, basically from downtown to Mound Street and South Central Avenue, that part of the route will still be there, but it will not be serviced by West Mound Street. Instead, it will be serviced by the Harrisburg Local, which is currently known as the Grove City Local. Now, from Mound Street and South Central Avenue to Mound Street and Hague Avenue, that part of the bus route will be the same. So, it will just be the same as it is now. Now, from Mound Street and Hague Avenue to Sullivan Avenue and Exchange Drive, that part of the route will be discontinued. Basically because the number 3 is close enough that people can just utilize the Sullivan Avenue Local. So, if you're in the red area and you need to take the bus, you'll have to utilize the Sullivan Avenue Local. Now, from Sullivan Avenue and Exchange Drive to Georgesville Road and Industrial Mile Road, that part of the route will still be there, but it will not be serviced by the West Mound Street Local. It will be serviced once again by Sullivan Avenue Local. Now, Lincoln Park Center, Westport Road, and Industrial Mile Road, that part of the route will be discontinued. And There are, however, 2 routes nearby to get you there to points of interest that might be on the affected route, and they are the Sullivan Avenue local and the Hilliard-Rome Crosstown, a new crosstown that's being implemented. Now, from Industrial Mile Road to Sullivan Avenue to Georgesville Road and Sullivan Avenue, I'm not sure I got this mapped correctly or highlighted correctly. That part of the route will be basically discontinued from the number 3 and will still be serviced by the Hilliard-Rome Crosstown. Now, from Georgesville and Sullivan Avenue to Georgesville and Climb Road, that part of the route will be discontinued. And instead, you will need to utilize either the Hilliard-Rome Road or the newly aligned West Mound Street bus. And finally, from from Georgesville and Sullivan Avenue to Georgesville and Bolton Field, that part of the route will be the same. Now, you may have also noticed this dotted line that branches off from the West Mound Street bus. That is just a small branch that only runs select trips during peak hours. A small portion of that, which will be from Demarest and Aiken Road to Demarest Road and Briggs Road. No, wait, I got that wrong. From Demarest Road and Briggs Road to Demarest Road and Climb Road, that will still be serviced by the West Mound Street local, and that will actually become all-day service and not peak service for that little part highlighted in green. However, the parts in red, which includes from Demarest and Aiken to Demarest and Briggs, as well as Green Rock Road, Bonnie Ridge Road, and Glarelock Drive, those parts of the route will be discontinued and you will have to utilize the West Mound Street local in the future. The West Mound Street local will be renumbered to number 9 and connect up with the future Brettonau route. And here is what the West Mound Street local will look like, and there's actually something new to the route. The West Mound Street local will be extended further out, so it will continue on down Georgesville Road until Norton Road. Then it will travel north on Norton Road until Broad Street. It will then turn left onto Broad Street and then go to Westwoods Park and Ride and lay over there along with the Broad Street bus. So basically, those are the first 3 routes, as well as the Polaris Parkway Crosstown. Now, in the next episode, I'm going to go over routes 4, 5, 6, and 7. And there are a lot of changes there. Those routes, if you're wondering, are the Indianola Avenue local, the Parsons Avenue local, West 5th Avenue local, the Mount Vernon Avenue local, the Sullivan Avenue local, Neal Avenue local, and the Whittier Street local. So stay tuned for episode 2 of this, I, to be honest, don't know how many episode series, as I go through and try to explain all the COTA TSR changes that are happening. This has been Tape City, here to bring you this information. And if you're wondering, for gamers and my Minecraft friends wondering if there's going to be any gaming content uploaded alongside this TSR content I'm posting, yes, I got a bunch of Halo episodes, and I am still working on Minecraft, the Statue Project episode 7. I'm still working on that, but it is stuck in editing as these videos currently are taking priority just because of the seriousness in the local community of Columbus. I'm Tape City. If you want to subscribe to find out more about the TSR changes, or want to subscribe for more gaming content and other stuff, including some other COTA related stuff like bus reviews and some sound recordings of some buses that are now retired, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.